Шановні колеги,
Dear colleagues, we continue our working day at the Ukraine Crisis Media Center, and the floor is given to Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now the information about the events in the ATO area during last 24 hours, and also about the training in the armed forces of Ukraine. Lugansk area, Stanitsa Luganska. From 3 p.m. till 5 p.m. there were firing between ATO forces and the militants. And in the course of enemy fire in the regional center, private house burned down. And the rest of the day it was calm in Bakhmutska highway and to the north. At two Ukrainian positions there were heavy mortar shellings delivered by the militants, and each lasted for about 15 minutes. The situation was tense in the region of Popasna. During 1 hour, in dark hours, the militants delivered 2 mortar shellings and 2 artillery shellings, launching 21 mines at our positions and 26 shells of more than 100 millimeter of caliber. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in Lugansk area, there were 8 enemy shellings, 6 with the use of heavy weapons. In Donetsk area, the main military actions during the last 24 hours were in the region of Zaitsevo and Avdiivka production area. The enemy continuously shells the positions and regularly use mortars of different caliber. Ukrainian forces return fire. Also in Troitsk, that is at Svetlodarska Bulge, there was a military clash for half an hour, and our servicemen seized several militants. In Lugansk, Novgorodsk and Avdiivka production area, our positions were shelled by enemy snipers. The area in the south, in the Donetsk area, Butovka mine position, in Opetnapisky and the adjacent areas, the militants didn't violate ceasefire. On the whole, during last 24 hours in the Donetsk area, there were 22 enemy shellings, including 8 with the use of heavy weapons and 1 military clash. Mariupol area, the main battle actions are at the front line, Krasnogorivka, Marienka and Shirokina. And there the militants used mortars, and also enemy snipers were active. Also, a number of enemy provocations and enemy shellings were in other places, such as suburbs of the Kuchayevsk, Novogrigorivka and Pavlopol. From 1 till 6 in the evening at the line of contact, there was full lull. But some of the shellings were continuous. For example, one lasted for 2 hours. At that, the enemy used different types of weapons, both small arms and mortars. This is tactics of the militants that want to escalate the conflict and also to get some additional payment and weaponry from their commanders. Also, the active military actions are carried out to test new types of Russian weaponry, and also in order to keep the militants in constant battle readiness, because discipline is lacking in the ranks of the militants. On the whole, in the Mariupol area, there were 25 enemy shellings, including 5 mortar shellings and 6 sniper shellings. Yesterday, the enemy used air drones 7 times in order to carry out air reconnaissance in the Donetsk area. During the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, 2 Ukrainian servicemen were killed and 4 were wounded. We express our condolences to the relatives and loved ones of the servicemen who died. Losses of the enemy. During the last 24 hours, 4 militants died and 3 were wounded. These losses were sustained by 3rd Brigade from Gorlovka, 7th Brigade from Debaltseve, and 9th Regiment Novazovsk. Also, to a special unit of Donetsk hospital named after Kalinin, 7 heavily wounded militants were delivered to, and also they will be transported to the military hospital in Rostov-on-Don. SBU provided information about the militants detained in Troitsky. One of them was the citizen of Russian Federation from Severodvinsk, Arkhangelsk Oblast, and there is main base of Russian Northern Fleet, and now the video with the direct speech of the detained.
Добре, якщо будемо.
Okay, so if we have opportunity, we will show it at the end. So this proves the guilt of Kremlin in the aggression against Ukraine and unwillingness of Russia to adhere to point 10 of the Minsk agreement, in which it is stated that foreign troops should be withdrawn from the conflict area. This militant that was detained the case of this militant will be brought to court. And also our officers detained a member of Sparta militant group. It was established that in November 2014, the resident of Bakhmut took part in military actions against ATO forces, and he was involved in transporting military equipment and weaponry, and also he served at enemy checkpoint.
In winter 2015, he left the band formation and tried to hide himself in Russia, but then he came back to Ukraine. During a search, the special service employees have found the words, so-called words and documents issued by DPR bodies. Also in Mariinka checkpoint, the border guards had detained the militant from Vostok Band formation who appeared to be Russian citizen. They expropriated their passport issued by so-called Southern Ossetia, occupied by Russia, which is Georgian territory. He voluntarily surrendered to Ukrainian servicemen because he fled from DPR. In Berdichi village in Yassinovata district of Donetsk Oblast, the policeman had found this storage with weapons like for grenade launchers, grenades, anti-infantry mine, and more than 400 charges. Despite the complicated situation near Golivka, the work of Ukrainian sappers continue. Thus, they neutralize explosive ordnance near Mayorsk checkpoint, which is crossed by trucks, and a huge number of civil residents. Despite continuous challenge of the checkpoint, they demine the territory and neutralize the ammunition. Also, Ukrainian experts in demining are participating in special exercise in Lviv region. They train themselves in demining of the territories, installation of the mine defense near checkpoints, reconnaissance activities, and repealing of the enemies. reconnaissance group operations. Besides that, the sappers use IMP2 special machine for demining. Also, yesterday, our four-star general Jonathan Vance visited the general staff of Ukraine. He met with the four-star general Viktor Mushenko. General Vance stated that Canada continuously support and cooperate with Ukraine. This statement was confirmed with the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Justin Trudeau, during his last meeting with the President of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko. And now the video. I'm a citizen of Russian Federation. I'm here because I'm a serviceman of the 7th Brigade, 6th Company. I'm a commander of the platoon number 1. I am senior lieutenant. In spring 2016, I arrived to Krasny Luch, and where I was assigned to 7th Brigade. In my platoon, I had 7 people. Is there any sense to come to Ukraine? This is the People's Militia. Did you see much out of People's Militia? I planned to quit from this country, to fly out from it, but I did not have enough time. In August, I was planning to go to Russia. Thank you. Any questions, please? Good afternoon, Ksenia Dvornikova, TV, 5th channel. Could you please specify where Ukrainian servicemen were wounded or killed? Two killed soldiers were in course of the blast of Mon 50 mine near Mariin in Slavne village, Mariinska rayona. One wounded serviceman was in Zaitsevo during shelling, two in Avdiivka during shellings. Near Budivka mine, one wounded person. And maybe you have information about Junior Lieutenant Gurtaka, who was killed from IDAR voluntary unit. Probably he is in that number of wounded and killed whom I mentioned. Thank you very